Hey y'all, thanks for stopping in. So Bar Rescue host John Taffer crushes Bud Light for slapping customers in the face. Now you guys might remember John Taffer from a show called Bar Rescue, where people who owned bars that were failing would basically call up or send a letter to John Taffer, and he would come in and renovate them and bring in new systems and fire somebody and yell at somebody or a couple people for drama and, leave them in a better place they were than when he got there, essentially. I've kind of done some follow-up just out of curiosity and looked up some of these bars, how they ended up doing, after the show. And some of them go on and do okay, and some of them fail. But, the show's still pretty decent. I watched quite a few of the episodes. I haven't watched it for a couple years, but you didn't come here to find out how much TV I watch. But he's kind of the guru, go-to guy when it comes to bars, basically. So, that said, let's find out what he has to say. John Taffer, the American entrepreneur best known for hosting Bar Rescue, isn't sold on Bud Light ever bouncing back. Taffer joined Fox Business Monday and said what most sane Americans have been shouting for months now. The once popular beer brand slapped their customers in the face in the dumbest way imaginable. I agree. Beer brands and people's connection to their beer is an identifier of your personality. It's almost emotional, Taffer said. People connect with these brands very heavily, and in their view, the brand slapped them in the face. This isn't going away anytime soon. It's forever. And I tend to agree. I 100% agree. They might have some bounce back, but, people that have moved away from Bud Light aren't going back. They found something different, and it's not like they're yearning to go back to Bud Light. I mean, I don't know if I've ever actually yearned. Have you ever yearned? It's a Seinfeld joke. But anyways, there's a little video here, and let's find out what he had to say.
Bar Rescue host John Taffer joins me now. Now, I'm really, John, I got to tell you, I'm really surprised to hear, first of all, I'm surprised, actually, that this Bud Light boycott has lasted so long. Are you?
Actually not, Stuart. Beer brands and people's connection to their beer is an identifier of your personality. It's a personal thing, almost emotional. People connect with these brands very heavily.
Yep.
In their view, the brand slapped them in the face. It's almost like a spouse disappointing you in some way. It's emotional. Stores have reduced shelf space for the brand, Stuart. Distributors haven't reduced warehouse space. They've reduced order numbers. This is not disappearing anytime soon. All of the distribution mechanisms around Bud Light have all been reduced to adjust to current levels.
John,
it's forever.
Do you want to do a Bud Light rescue? Do you have anything in mind that would rescue Bud Light?
I think that they need to go back to being a great American brand. And I think they need to stand for American values, which is what they did all these years, Stuart.
Okay.
And, Budweiser, at the end of Prohibition, those Clydesdales took the first keg to the White House. Yeah. I think they need to go back to those kind of roots.
It's just a shame that those folks actually ended up selling to a Belgian company, and it's not really an American, brand anymore. Like you just said, that's pretty notable that the Clydesdales brought that keg to the White House back in the day. That's pretty interesting, Bud Light used to be Americana, and now it's kind of ruined forever for a lot of people.
As I was starting out this interview, I was saying I was surprised. Well, I am surprised at you, actually, because you're suggesting that small businesses go ask the government for help. That's not like you, John. What kind of help do you think they should ask for?
Actually, Stuart, if you remember, about 4 years ago, before the last presidential election, I interviewed then President Trump, and I pushed him very heavily on committing to the
Lucky.
employee retention tax credit. At the time, pandemic was still going on, businesses were in trouble, but Stuart, the restaurant industry is still in issues. Yeah. Out-of-home food costs have gone up 8.6% in April alone, and restaurant traffic has gone down 3.5%. Now,
Dang, in April alone. You know, that's the one scary thing about, you know, you take a step back and look at the broader view with this, what's going on with Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch and all these other brands. It's like everything's falling apart almost. Everything's being reduced to essentially, you know, leaving only the things behind that are owned by some of those big companies that I don't really want to mention right now.
My CPA told me my businesses didn't qualify for the employee retention tax credit. And then I hired a professional company who came back and told me that I did. So restaurants are closing. They're being pressured due to all sorts of cost structures. Here's a program that was put in place during the pandemic to support us when we were wounded during the pandemic. And some of us are still licking those wounds. Here's a great program. And whether you go to refunds.com, no matter where you go, look into this program as a restaurant operator, because the dollars are readily available. We've paid into the system. This goes back to the Trump-era decisions to support us during the crisis. Don't let your restaurant suffer when these kind of resources are available.
Now, there's...
Okay, so he's saying tap into an already available resource, and I agree with that. You know, we should be tapping into more of these government programs that are already available from time to time. So it wasn't a great weekend for Bud Light either. Go figure. First, Anheuser-Busch CEO Brendan Whitworth said last Friday he planned to hit the road this summer to really connect with the customers. I assume that will go swimmingly. Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, is he going to go and stand at podiums and talk down to people and act like he's connecting with them? Or is he going to, like, go into random bars and start, you know, trying to... I mean, this would be a good idea. Maybe we should start walking into random bars and just, like, Bud Light on the house for everybody here and make people choose between drinking Bud Light that night or paying for their own beer, something different. You know, maybe that would win people back to Bud Light. I don't know. That would seem smarter than just acting like you can pay more money and do more marketing and advertising and treating your customers like they're just so dumb that they're going to see this new commercial and that your marketing is being shoved down their throat and in their face, that they're going to just be like, I think I'm thirsty for a Bud Light today. I hated it last week, and I've been standing on my principles for months now, but oh, they just got me with this marketing. Dilly dilly, I got to drink a Bud Light. I don't think it's going to happen. So he also revealed the company is offering financial assistance to all the Bud Light distributors they screwed over, and claimed, we hear you when talking about the ongoing boycott. Yeah, sure you do. Earlier Monday, a report also surfaced that one AB exec admitted the entire ordeal had been a wake-up call for everyone. On top of that, the latest sales numbers from last week weren't great. In fact, they haven't been for nearly 3 months now. And on that, I think we actually get the most recent sales reports tomorrow. So be on the lookout for my video on that one. It'll be out... it'll be out the next morning pretty much. I've been trying to put out one video every morning. YouTube seems to be treating me better when I just put out one video a day and I put it out in the morning. And so I'm going to stick with that format for a little while and see how that goes, by the way. But so anyways, sorry, that was a little side note. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish up. What does it all add up to? A not so great outlook from perhaps the most terrifying TV host around, not named Gordon Ramsay. And that's true. Like I said, he kind of gets in people's faces, and the arguments I've seen him in with some pretty big dudes. He doesn't back down. John Taffer, you at least give him that. And so it's pretty fun. I don't know if it's for TV. It could be acting. You know what I mean? It's all on TV. But so is Gordon Ramsay, and they got them loud, in-your-face attitudes that make me crack up, so it's entertaining to me. But seriously, have you ever seen Bar Rescue? John Taffer scares the bejesus out of me. So yes, I tend to believe whatever he says is the last line of the article. But I do like the way this article is written. It has a little bit of personality to it. So good job there, Zach Dean. I'm not familiar, but hey, I appreciate you writing this article so I could read it. So with that, I'm going to ask you guys to please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.